What if I told you that happiness doesn't come from comfort, wealth, or applause, but from staring life's harshest truths in the eye and saying, "I accept you"? The Stoics knew this secret. They understood that joy isn't stumbled upon like a shiny coin on the sidewalk. It's forged in the fire of resilience, carved out of accepting life for what it truly is: brutal, unpredictable, and breathtakingly beautiful. Consider this. We live in a world addicted to convenience, where people avoid discomfort like it's a plague and chase fleeting pleasures like moths to a flame. But here's the catch. Avoiding the hard truths doesn't free you. It enslaves you. Only by confronting life's raw realities, head-on, can you uncover the lasting happiness beneath the surface. In this video, we're diving into 10 harsh truths you must accept to live a truly happy life. These aren't sugar-coated platitudes or quick-fix solutions. They're raw, unapologetic lessons grounded in Stoic wisdom and backed by the reality of human experience. They will challenge you. They might even sting. But if you embrace them, they will transform you. Before we begin, take a moment to act. Hit that like button, not for me, but for yourself. Why? Because embracing action, even small ones, is the first step toward change. Subscribe to Victory Stoic and join a community that values truth, growth, and resilience. And if this resonates, share it with someone ready to leave behind illusions and step into a life of purpose. Happiness isn't for the faint of heart. It's for those brave enough to accept life as it is and live intentionally anyway. Are you ready? Let's begin. Number 1. Life is not fair, and that's okay. The first truth is one of the hardest to swallow. Life is not fair, and it never will be. But here's the twist. The Stoics saw this not as a curse, but as the greatest opportunity for growth. Epictetus, who rose from slavery to become one of history's greatest philosophers, said it best: "Do not demand that things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do." It's not the fairness of life that defines you. It's your response to its chaos. Think of life as a mythical battlefield, where the gods of fortune play dice, and mortals are left to navigate the unpredictable outcomes. One day you're the hero, triumphant with the spoils of success. The next, you're struck down by an unseen hand. A lost promotion, a shattered dream, or an unfair betrayal. They're not just tests of endurance. They're forges where your character is tempered, where resilience is born. Consider the story of Job from ancient mythology, who lost everything: wealth, health, even family, through no fault of his own. Did he curse the universe and fall apart? No. Job's strength came from accepting life's injustice and persevering anyway. His suffering didn't define him. His response to it did. Or look to history. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, wrongfully accused, enduring injustice that would have broken most. Yet when he emerged, he didn't seek revenge. He sought reconciliation. Mandela understood that fairness is rarely served on a silver platter, but peace and progress can still be achieved by those willing to rise above bitterness. In your own life, how often do you waste energy lamenting what's unfair? That promotion you deserve but didn't get. The betrayal by a friend who should have known better. These moments are painful, yes, but they are also invitations. Will you be consumed by anger and despair, or will you rise, like a phoenix from the ashes of unfairness, stronger and wiser? Here's how to channel this truth into action. Drop the fantasy. Let go of the idea that life should be fair. Replace it with the understanding that life is what it is. Choose your response. Focus on what you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your ability to adapt. Turn pain into power. See setbacks not as punishments, but as opportunities to grow and transform. The Stoics teach us that fairness isn't a birthright. It's a fleeting illusion. Life will not always give you what you deserve, but it will always give you the chance to respond with dignity and strength. That is where true power lies. So, The next time life slams a door in your face, don't waste time demanding justice from an indifferent universe. Instead, push forward, find another door, or better yet, build your own. Because as Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Number 2. You are not in control of most things. The second truth is liberating yet humbling. You are not in control of most things in life. The weather, the traffic, the opinions of others, these are the winds and tides of existence, far beyond your reach. Epictetus put it plainly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. This simple truth forms the cornerstone of Stoic wisdom, urging us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Imagine a captain at sea. The waves crash, the wind howls, and the storm rages on. Can the captain command the sea to calm? No. But what they can do is adjust the sails, steer the ship, and navigate through the chaos. Life is much the same. You cannot stop the storms, but you can choose how you respond to them. Take the everyday frustrations we all know too well. A traffic jam when you're running late, or rain on a day you plan to be outside. It's easy to let anger bubble up, cursing the world for its unfairness. But what if, instead, you paused and said to yourself, "This is beyond my control. What can I do in this moment?" Maybe you turn up your favorite song in the car, or use the unexpected time to reflect. The storm doesn't vanish, but your mind stays calm. The Stoics didn't just observe this truth, they lived by it. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the vast Roman Empire, faced constant betrayal, war, and illness. Yet, in his meditations he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Despite wielding immense power, Marcus focused on what he could control: his thoughts, actions, and character. Here's how Stoicism helps us master this truth. Identify what's within your power: your thoughts, decisions, and efforts. These are yours to command. Everything else, release it. Practice detachment. Don't let external events dictate your mood. If you can't change it, let it go. Focus on your response. Instead of reacting with frustration, ask yourself, what can I do now? Psychologically, this approach reduces stress and fosters resilience. By shifting focus from what you wish would happen to what you can make happen, you reclaim control over your emotions and energy. Picture this. A friend cancels on you at the last minute. Instead of stewing in disappointment, you think, "I can't control their decision, but I can control how I spend this time." You end up enjoying a solo outing, or catching up on something you love. The power isn't in changing others, it's in how you adapt. The Stoics remind us that trying to control the uncontrollable is a recipe for misery. Peace comes not from bending the world to your will, but from mastering yourself. So the next time life throws you an obstacle, remember, this is not in my hands, but my reaction is. And in that moment, you'll find freedom. Number 3. Happiness is not in material possessions. Here's a truth we love to ignore. Happiness is not hidden in the shiny new gadget, the bigger house, or the designer shoes. Epictetus warned us long ago. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The Stoics knew that chasing material things was like chasing the horizon. You'll never reach it. True happiness, they believed, is found in simplicity and gratitude. Imagine this. You're scrolling online, and an ad pops up promising the one thing you need to finally be happy. Maybe it's the latest phone, an overpriced skincare routine, or a smart fridge that texts you when you're out of milk. You convince yourself, this is it. Once I have this, I'll be happy. But a month later, the phone feels old, the skincare routine gathers dust, and your smart fridge is ghosting you. Happiness didn't come in the box. Let's get even more real. Think about your closet. Somewhere in there is a shirt you bought thinking, this will change my life. People will notice me. But does anyone ever say, "Wow, your shirt has completely revolutionized my opinion of you as a person"? Of course not. And yet, here we are, buying more stuff to impress people who probably don't even notice. Now contrast that with the joy of something simple, a home-cooked meal with a friend, a walk in the park, or a quiet moment watching the sunrise. These experiences don't cost a cent, yet they fill you with warmth and connection. The Stoics would nod in approval, reminding us that happiness is an inside job, not an Amazon purchase. Consider history's minimalist role models. Diogenes, the Cynic philosopher, famously lived in a barrel and owned almost nothing. When Alexander the Great offered him anything he desired, Diogenes replied, "Move out of my sunlight." His point? You don't need wealth to be free. You need freedom from the illusion that wealth equals happiness. Here's how to escape the material trap. Gratitude first. Each day, write down 3 things you already have that bring you joy: friends, health, or even your sense of humor. Value experiences over things. Spend your resources on moments that create lasting memories, like a picnic or a concert, rather than another gadget. Declutter your life. Donate what you don't use. Sometimes, less really is more. For a funny but true example, think of someone who buys an expensive juicer to transform their mornings. For 2 days, it's all kale and spinach. By day 3, the juicer in the cabinet was replaced by coffee and toast. The happiness didn't come from the juicer, it came from the idea of change. But real change doesn't live in machines, it lives in mindset. The Stoics believe that wanting less is the key to having more. When you stop chasing what you don't have and start appreciating what you do, you unlock a sense of contentment that no sale or status symbol can deliver. So the next time you're tempted to buy happiness, pause. Ask yourself, is this what I truly need, or am I filling a void that stuff can't fix? As Epictetus reminds us, freedom is not in having, but in being free from want. Number 4, you will be judged, no matter what you do. Here's a truth that stings at first but eventually sets you free. People will judge you no matter what you do. Wear a suit, and someone will think you're pretentious. Wear sweatpants, and they'll call you lazy. Try something bold, and they'll label you reckless. Play it safe, and they'll call you boring. Marcus Aurelius understood this, writing, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them." Imagine this. You're at a family gathering, and Aunt Karen leans over the salad to ask why you're still single. Moments later, Cousin Dan chimes in about how your career is interesting. With that tone that means, "I don't get it." You could explain yourself, but would it matter? Aunt Karen and Cousin Dan already have their opinions, and bending over backward to change them only drains your energy. Or consider the workplace. You take a risk and pitch a creative idea. Some colleagues praise your boldness, while others grumble about how it won't work. Meanwhile, if you stay quiet, they criticize you for not contributing. The point? Judgment is inevitable, so why let it control you? For a historical example, look no further than Socrates. Known for questioning everything, he was beloved by some and despised by others. His relentless pursuit of truth led to accusations of corrupting the youth, ultimately costing him his life. Did he waver in his values to appease his critics? No. Socrates chose integrity over popularity, understanding that judgment is part of life's messy package. The Stoics teach us that external judgments are nothing more than noise. What truly matters is how you judge yourself. Are you living according to your values? Are your actions aligned with your purpose? If the answer is yes, then let the critics chatter. It's their hobby, not your burden. Here's how to apply this wisdom. Define your values. Know what you stand for so that external opinions can't sway you. Practice detachment. Remind yourself that judgment reflects the critic's perspective, not your worth. Focus on growth. Use constructive feedback to improve, but dismiss opinions rooted in negativity or ignorance. For a lighter example, think about fashion choices. You wear a bold outfit. One friend calls it fabulous, while another says, "That's brave." We all know what brave means here. Do you change to please the second person, or do you strike confidently, knowing your style isn't for everyone? Confidence, not conformity, is what turns heads for the right reasons. Ultimately, the Stoics remind us that judgment is unavoidable. Instead of wasting energy trying to please everyone, direct the energy toward living authentically. As Marcus Aurelius would say, it is not the opinion of others that matters, but your integrity. So go ahead, pursue that unconventional career, embrace your quirks, and wear those bold pants. Let them judge. You've got better things to do. Number 5. Hardship is inevitable. Here's a truth you can't escape. Hardship is an unavoidable part of life. But before you throw in the towel, consider this. What if challenges weren't obstacles, but opportunities? Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoics didn't just endure suffering. They turned it into a forge, shaping themselves into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Michael Jackson once sang, "You're not alone." And truly, you aren't. Every human being faces adversity. Life doesn't single you out for hardship. It hands it to everyone, like a harsh but necessary rite of passage. The difference lies in how you respond. Will you crumble under the weight, or will you rise? Imagine a breakup. At first, it feels like your world is shattered. But over time, the heartbreak forces you to reflect. What went wrong? What do you want in a partner, and yourself? Slowly you rebuild, stronger and more self-aware than before. The breakup didn't destroy you. It taught you lessons you wouldn't have learned otherwise. For a historical example, think of Thomas Edison. He famously failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence wasn't just admirable. It was a living embodiment of Stoic resilience. Here's how to transform hardship into growth. Reframe the challenge. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Focus on your response. You may not control the hardship, but you control how you react. Seek strength in struggles. Use every challenge as an opportunity to build character and resilience. Think of smaller, everyday hardships, missing a promotion, dealing with criticism, or struggling to meet a goal. These moments sting, but they also sharpen you. Like a blade honed by friction, you emerge more prepared for the battles ahead. The Stoics remind us that hardship isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Every storm you weather teaches you to navigate the next. Every failure shows you a new path. And every heartbreak reminds you of the strength you already carry within. So, the next time life throws a curveball, remember Michael's words. You're not alone. The challenge isn't punishment. It's potential. Take it, use it, and let it become the foundation for your next triumph. As Marcus Aurelius might add, what stands in the way becomes the way. Number 6. Envy is a poison you feed yourself. Envy is one of the most destructive emotions we can harbor, not because it harms others, but because it slowly corrodes our sense of peace and contentment. Seneca, ever the wise Stoic, warned us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Envy, at its core, is a craving, a restless hunger for what others have. And like any poison, the more you indulge it, the more it weakens you. When we compare our lives to others, we often focus on the highlights, their achievements, possessions, or seemingly perfect relationships, while ignoring the struggles and imperfections hidden beneath. Social media only amplifies this. painting a glossy, curated picture of life that rarely reflects reality. But what the Stoics remind us is simple. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, focus, and gratitude for your journey. Envy doesn't stop at material possessions. It seeps into every quarter of life. We envy others' success, their talents, and even their perceived happiness. But consider this. Does envying someone else's journey make yours any better? The Stoics would say no. Instead, they encourage us to focus inward, recognizing the unique path we're walking and appreciating the progress we've made. Let's take a closer look at envy's insidious nature. Imagine spending hours wishing for your neighbor's bigger house, your coworker's promotion, or your friend's seemingly idyllic lifestyle. What happens? You don't magically acquire those things. Instead, you feel dissatisfied with what you already have. The Stoics teach us that this mindset isn't just unproductive. It's self-inflicted misery. As Marcus Aurelius advised, look at what you have, the things you value most, and think of how you would crave them if they weren't yours. But how do we counteract envy? Through gratitude and perspective. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have, while perspective reminds you that every life carries its struggles, no matter how perfect it seems. When you stop craving what others have, you free yourself to fully appreciate your efforts and accomplishments. The Stoics also challenge us to go deeper. Rather than envying others' successes, celebrate them. This doesn't diminish your worth, it enhances it. When you can genuinely applaud someone else's achievements, you break envy's grip and open the door to stronger relationships and greater self-respect. Ultimately, envy is a prison of your own making. The key lies in choosing a different path, one of gratitude, self-awareness, and celebration of both your journey and others. As Seneca reminds us, "He who envies others does not enjoy his own." Choose instead to thrive in the abundance of what you already possess. Number 7. Time is your most precious resource. There is no greater treasure than time, yet it slips through our fingers faster than the sands of an hourglass. The Stoics knew this truth intimately. Seneca, in his masterpiece on the shortness of life, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This is not a gentle reminder, it is a wake-up call, a thundering declaration that time, once spent, can never be reclaimed. Every moment wasted is a piece of your life lost to the abyss of nothingness. Picture life as a battlefield, with time as the golden prize you must defend. Your enemies? Procrastination, distraction, and the alluring yet empty comforts of mindless entertainment. Every day, these adversaries attack, stealing minutes, hours, and even years from your existence. To squander time is not just careless, it is an act of betrayal against yourself, a forfeiture of potential that could have been shaped into something extraordinary. The ancients understood this deeply. Consider the tale of Sisyphus, condemned to roll a boulder uphill for eternity, only for it to tumble back down each time. Though his punishment is symbolic, how different is it from the life of someone who spends their days repeating meaningless tasks, scrolling endlessly, or numbing themselves with distractions? The rock may not be literal, but the burden is real. Wasted time is wasted life. Now ask yourself, how do you spend your days? How often do you let hours evaporate while scrolling through your phone, binge-watching shows, or engaging in fruitless arguments? The Stoics would remind you that each of these moments is a currency spent. Are you spending wisely? Or are you letting the wealth of your time vanish into nothing? The solution lies in intentionality. Time, like a blade, must be wielded with precision and purpose. Seneca urged us to reflect on our days, to ask whether our time was devoted to something meaningful. This doesn't mean every moment must be spent in labor. Rather, it means consciously choosing activities that enrich your life, whether through learning, creating, connecting, or resting. Here's how to take back control of your most precious resource. Audit your time. Reflect on how you spend your days. Identify the black holes, distractions and unproductive habits, and eliminate them. Prioritize what matters. Devote your time to activities that align with your values and goals, whether it's deep work, nurturing relationships, or personal growth. Protect your time. Treat it like gold. Say no to things that don't serve your purpose, and guard your schedule fiercely. Think of great leaders, thinkers, and creators throughout history. They didn't have more time than you. They simply chose to use theirs wisely. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, juggled painting, engineering, and scientific discovery, making every second count. His genius wasn't just talent, it was mastery over time. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how much time we are given, we can control how we use it. Every moment is a choice. Will you waste it on the trivial, or will you shape it into something meaningful? Remember Seneca's warning. While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. Act now, before the sands run out. Number 8. Relationships require effort. Let's face it, relationships are hard work. They don't magically blossom like flowers in a fairy tale meadow. They are more like gardens that demand constant tending, lest they wither into a tangled mess of weeds. The Stoics, practical as ever, knew this truth. Seneca advised, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." It sounds poetic, but let's be real. Half the time, the people in our lives feel more like sandpaper than inspiration. Here's the harsh truth. Great relationships require effort, patience, and a lot of emotional heavy lifting. Expecting them to flourish without investment is like expecting to win the lottery without buying a ticket. Yet many of us treat relationships as if they should just happen. When things get tough, we either ghost the problem or slap a band-aid over it, hoping it'll fix itself. Spoiler alert, it won't. Take a romantic partnership, for instance. The honeymoon phase is glorious. Everything feels effortless, like walking on clouds. Then, reality barges in with its annoying questions. Who forgot to take out the trash? Or, why do you chew so loudly? It's tempting to throw up your hands and mutter, "This isn't what I signed up for." But here's where the Stoics would step in, raising an eyebrow and asking, are you running from discomfort or leaning into growth? Friendships aren't immune to this either. That one friend who always flakes on plans. The cousin who only calls when they need something. It's easy to grumble, but harder to have the honest conversations that can improve these relationships. Or, when necessary, let them go. Stoicism isn't about grinning through toxicity. It's about being intentional with your connections. Keep the ones that challenge and inspire you. Gently release the ones that drain your energy. Let's not even get started on family. You love them, sure, but who hasn't wanted to flip a dinner table during a heated debate about politics, parenting, or your interesting life choices? Yet, even here, the Stoics remind us to approach conflict with empathy rather than avoidance. Marcus Aurelius, juggling the weight of an empire, and undoubtedly some obnoxious relatives, wrote, "Whenever someone has done wrong, you should immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it." In other words, try to understand their perspective, even if it drives you insane. Here's how to cultivate better relationships. Communicate honestly. Avoid passive-aggressive remarks and address issues directly, but kindly. Set boundaries. Invest in relationships that uplift you and distance yourself from toxic dynamics. Resolve, don't avoid. Conflict doesn't mean failure. It's an opportunity to strengthen understanding and trust. At the end of the day, relationships are the most enriching and maddening part of life. The Stoics remind us that their value lies not in their perfection, but in the growth they inspire. Effort is the price of meaningful connection, but the rewards? Priceless. So the next time you're tempted to ghost your flaky friend or stew silently over a minor argument, channel your inner Stoic. Roll up your sleeves, have a tough conversation, or make a compromise. As Seneca might say, the work you put into others will reflect the strength you find in yourself. Now, go water that garden. Number 9. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is a paradox. It feels restrictive, yet it's the gateway to true freedom. Epictetus, who was born a slave and rose to become one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood this better than anyone. He declared, "Freedom is the reward of self-discipline." Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. Without discipline, you're not living freely. You're living as a slave to your impulses, whims, and distractions. Picture this. Your alarm goes off at 6 a.m. You swore last night you'd wake up early to exercise, journal, and plan your day. But instead, you hit snooze, once, twice, and then 5 more times. By the time you crawl out of bed, you're scrambling, frazzled, and cursing your lack of time. Sound familiar? That's the cost of undisciplined mornings. A chaotic start to a chaotic day. Now imagine this alternative. The alarm rings, and you roll out of bed, groggy but determined. You stretch, sip water, and start your workout. By the time others are hitting snooze for the 3rd time, you've already set your intentions for the day and feel in control. That's the power of discipline, not glamorous, but transformative. The Stoics believed that discipline wasn't about punishment. It was about aligning your actions with your higher goals. It's not forcing yourself into misery. It's freeing yourself from the misery of chaos and regret. Discipline allows you to say, "I choose this because it brings me closer to the life I want." Let's look at an extreme example. The Spartans of ancient Greece. Known for their rigorous training and disciplined lifestyles, they didn't just prepare for battle, they lived for it. Their discipline wasn't about deprivation, it was about honing themselves into the ultimate warriors. The freedom they gained? Victory, survival, and an unshakable sense of purpose. For a more relatable example, consider your phone. Without discipline, it's a black hole that swallows hours of your life. Notifications pull you in, one video leads to another, and suddenly, it's midnight, and you've accomplished nothing. But with discipline, you set boundaries. No phones during meals, specific times for scrolling, and reclaim your time for things that matter. Here's how to build discipline into your life. Start small. Discipline isn't built overnight. Begin with manageable habits, like setting a consistent wake-up time or scheduling focus work blocks. Create systems. Set routines that eliminate decision fatigue. The fewer choices you have to make, the easier discipline becomes. Reward progress. Celebrate small wins to reinforce the positive effects of sticking to your habits. The harsh truth? Discipline takes effort. But the payoff? Immense. It's the difference between being a passive bystander in your life and becoming its active architect. The Stoics remind us that true freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's having the power to do what's best for you. So, the next time you're tempted to skip the workout, hit snooze, or scroll mindlessly, remember this. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. As Epictetus might say, the chains of discipline are far lighter than the chains of regret. Number 10. You are responsible for your happiness. The final and perhaps most liberating truth is this: your happiness is your responsibility. It's not the job of your partner, your friends, your boss, or the universe to make you happy. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." Harsh? Yes. Empowering? Absolutely. Many of us spend our lives waiting for the perfect job, the perfect relationship, or the perfect opportunity to finally be happy. But here's the catch. Happiness isn't delivered to your doorstep like an Amazon package. It's built moment by moment, thought by thought, and you, not anyone else, are the architect. Think about it. How often do we blame others for our unhappiness? I'd be happy if only they appreciated me more. Or, I'd be satisfied if life were easier. The Stoics would shake their heads at this. They believed happiness isn't found in external circumstances. It's found in how you perceive and respond to them. A rainy day, a missed promotion, or an argument doesn't have to ruin your day. You have the power to choose your reaction. Consider the example of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who endured unimaginable suffering in concentration camps. Even in those dire circumstances, he found meaning and purpose, writing later, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." If Frankl could find hope in the darkest of places, what excuse do we have in our relatively comfortable lives? Here's another way to think about it. Imagine happiness as a garden. If you don't tend to it, if you let weeds of negativity grow unchecked, it will wither. But if you cultivate gratitude, water it with purpose, and put away resentment, it will flourish. No one else can care for your garden. That's your job. So how do you take responsibility for your happiness? Master your thoughts. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Replace negative, self-defeating thoughts with ones that empower and uplift you. Practice gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have. Define your purpose. Align your actions with your values and goals. When you live with purpose, happiness becomes a byproduct. Happiness isn't about avoiding pain or chasing fleeting pleasures. It's about resilience, perspective, and finding joy in the journey. The Stoics remind us that the external world is unpredictable, but our inner world is ours to shape. As Marcus Aurelius might whisper, "Look inward, for there lies the fountain of good." The next time you're tempted to blame someone else for your unhappiness, stop. Take a deep breath, reflect, and ask yourself, what can I do to cultivate my OE? The answer lies not in changing others, but in transforming yourself. As the Stoics teach us, happiness is an inside job. Conclusion. Happiness isn't about sidestepping life's harsh realities. It's about confronting them with courage, wisdom, and grace. The Stoics understood this centuries ago, and their teachings remain as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius reminded us. True happiness is forged in the fires of resilience, tempered by discipline, and illuminated by self-awareness. These 10 harsh truths are not barriers. They are stepping stones toward a life of purpose, balance, and fulfillment. Think about what we've explored: the inevitability of hardship, the futility of envy, the fleeting nature of time, and the power of self-discipline. These truths may seem daunting at first, but accepting them is like unlocking a door you didn't know was there. Behind that door lies freedom. Freedom from the chains of comparison, the illusion of control, and the distractions that keep us from living fully. Ask yourself, which of these truths resonates most with you? Which one feels like the hardest to embrace? Is it letting go of the need for fairness? Facing the reality that relationships require effort? Or perhaps accepting that happiness is your responsibility alone? The answers aren't always easy, but they are always transformative. Imagine the kind of life you could lead if you embraced these principles. A life where you no longer waste time chasing validation from others. A life where you face adversity not with despair, but with determination. A life where you build meaningful connections, prioritize what truly matters, and find joy in simplicity. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, and it's within your reach. Now, here's your challenge. Take one of these truths and apply it today. Start small. Maybe it's setting a boundary, practicing gratitude, or letting go of something beyond your control. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a stronger, more fulfilled version of yourself. If this message has inspired you, Don't let it stop here. Hit the like button, subscribe to Victory Stoic, and share this video with someone who's ready to face life's truths head-on. Together, we can create a community that thrives on growth, wisdom, and resilience. Happiness isn't handed to you. It's built by the choices you make every single day. It's not a destination waiting at the end of a perfect journey. It's the strength you gain by walking the imperfect path with intention and courage. As we close, let the words of Seneca guide you. The good life is not a passive existence. It is a life lived fully, with purpose, discipline, and clarity. Happiness is yours to create. Let's build it, one truth at a time. Together,